Hello, hello. I thought I would share some information that's pretty topical, especially when it comes to us mums. And the main goals that mums come to me seem to be around body fat and losing fat and getting that toned look. Toned look. I don't like the word toned because you can't tone your muscles. But we're going to go through that. So if you are someone who is wanting to lose fat and get that toned look, then this is the right recording for you. Excuse the mess of my hair. I am 1 year postpartum with my second child, and for those who know, you've always experienced the hair growth coming through, all the baby hairs. So this is what's going on right now. So if I can just go through and share my screen. There we are. I'm hoping you can see this. I can't seem to work out how to get this on a PowerPoint sharing thing properly, but here, to lose fat and get toned, these are the two things you need to do, and I bet you're not doing them. I bet you're doing the things that I used to do and believe that they were the right things to do, and actually they were hindering your outcome of getting that toned look and losing fat. Could I just say, if you are currently really newly postpartum, like within a year, be aware that if you're breastfeeding, if you're not getting much sleep, your hormones, you still have that relaxing going on through your body. You will carry more weight, and that's okay. You are a new mum, and priority shouldn't be what society puts pressure on us to do, to like bounce back, get our body back, and all of this rubbish that gets put on us. It should be about nourishing your body, feeling good, getting sleep, getting rest, being kind to yourself. Like, it's hard. Like, once you've grown this baby in your body, then it's come out of you however it's come out, and then you're having to look after it. So just be kind to yourself around your body image, and just know that it is amazing what it's done. Like, our bodies have actually grown a human being inside, and it's come out and it's walking around, or it's crawling around, or it's just there. It blows my mind every time I see my children. I'm like, I grew them. I actually grew ears and fingernails and teeth inside my body. So be kind to yourself. I'm just going to go through a little bit about me. This is my little family here. I've got two sons, Monty and Arthur, and my husband there, James. We moved to Australia in 2018. As you can tell by my accent, I'm a Brit, and all of my family are in the UK. So it's pretty tough having little ones. And I thought I was this independent woman, I didn't need anyone's support. And then once I have children, you really need that village. You really need that help and support. And this is me on the right. Now, I hate before and after images, and I never share them normally, but this is like a private webinar, and it puts things in perspective for people who are watching this. That's me on the left before I had babies. And I was the person who would do lots of cardio. I would do lots of really high intensity HIIT training. And that was me on the left, doing like training probably 6 days a week, 5-6 days a week, and counting calories and reducing my food intake. And that was me on the left doing that. And I did that for a lot of my life. And then that's me in the middle. That's after my first son, Monty, in 2019. And I'm 3 months postpartum there. And we had a bit of a tough time, me and Monty, with the birth, pelvic floor issues, all of that good stuff, traumatic birth. And then that's me on the right, a year and a half, maybe 2 years postpartum with Monty. And I started focusing on the two main things I'm going to share with you in this webinar, whatever you want to call it. And it's not doing lots of cardio because you don't have the time. But also, we're moving around with our kids anyway. And it's not starving ourselves. In fact, it's the opposite. So let me show the next slide. First one, eat protein. I don't like it when clients come to me and they are told, don't eat this, don't eat that, follow this, follow that, especially as a mum, right? Especially as a mum, because we don't have time to count calories, and we don't need to. And we don't have time or like the energy or the mental capacity to remove foods. We need energy. We need to keep up with our children. We need to keep up with that milk supply if we're breastfeeding. We need to keep up our energy and our mood and our mental state. And removing foods is no good. And it actually doesn't work anyway, because your body ends up going into that starvation mode, holding on to things, holding on to your fat stores. I'm going to talk about eating more. One thing to focus on, not removing foods, not removing chocolate, not removing wine, if they're your things that you need, it makes you feel good. At the end of the day, it's having kids and they drive us crazy. And then at the end of the day, we just want that time to ourselves and we want a wine or we want some chocolate. I'm talking about eating protein. If you do one thing to focus on, it's focusing on increasing your protein, because I bet you are not getting enough, and it may surprise you how much you actually need. Now the RDA recommends 0.8 grams per kilo of body fat, and that's actually low according to new research. So focusing on 1 gram per kilo of body weight, or 1.2, let's say 1, because it's easier with maths, right? Now, I don't want you to weigh yourself. Scales are rubbish. Scales do not show your worth. That number on the scale does not mean you're worthy of this and not worthy of that. So one thing to do yourself a favor, a mental favor, throw your scales away. But you can just weigh yourself to understand protein and how much you actually need, and then throw your scales away. And I don't want you to ever see them again, okay? Because they could be, your weight differs depending on the day, depending on how much liquid you've had, depending on if you've had a big poo or not, depending on if you have had really bad night's sleep, which is likely having children, depending on if you've moved the day before or the day after, depending on if you're on your period. Scales are just not a good gauge of your body. It's how you look in the mirror, it's how you feel in your clothes is your gauge. Now, here's an example of, say, I just did a 70-kilo woman, average weight is 154 pounds. So focusing on 100 grams, say, of protein. I've given you an example here, but moderately active, say. And these individuals should be consuming 1 gram, we'll say, per kilo of body weight, using the same example as before. 150-pound moderately active person should take in 1.6 grams of protein per day. And I've actually done 100 grams here, because you'll surprise yourself in, if you can aim for 100 grams of protein a day, you'll feel more satisfied, you'll last longer in regards to feeling fuller, and you'll find that you won't want to snack as much, or you won't, snacking's not bad, but you won't want to eat as much cake or chocolate or crisps or wine as you would normally, because you feel more satisfied and you're getting the nourishments and nutrients that you need to get through everyday life being a busy mum. So for example, 100 grams of protein is 3 eggs. I actually added all of these up because I was like, is that actually 100 grams? And it did work out. 1 wholemeal piece of toast. You can actually see that having more like animal products is going to give you more protein. But if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can still do that, but you just need to have a look online and see. You'll need to consume more to get your amount of protein per day, compared to if you are able to eat meat, or if you eat meat and fish and eggs. 2 tablespoons of almond butter is 7 grams, 1 pear. So that would be your breakfast, for example. And then, so for example, you could do an avocado, 100 grams of cottage cheese if you like that, and an orange for your vitamin C, especially really good for iron absorption. And a lot of us are not getting enough iron in our diet. And tuna I added in because that's 28 grams of protein, and you can mix this up. It looks like an interesting salad, right? But add in some cucumber, some tomatoes, mix it up, add in some olive oil. And then for dinner, it's a steak. As you can see, 43 grams of protein there, sweet potato and grilled zucchini. You notice how I don't, I've used Whole Foods, for example. They are better on your system, better on your body if you aim for Whole Foods. If you can't, grab a protein shake. And I always like making up things in the fridge beforehand, so it's easier for me to grab, because I put myself last. I don't make myself a priority, and I'm working on that. But I'm always like, okay, feed the kids, or I can't do that right now, I'm rushing out the door, I'll eat later. That's just not good enough. Okay, we need to look after ourselves so we can be our best version for ourselves, but also for the whole family. So I like doing oats, and it's like a protein sort of bar with vanilla vegan protein powder. Put chia seeds in, almond meal, some I have oatmeal called almond milk in it, and I can actually share the recipe for anyone who's interested. And that's really good because I can just take out a big wedge of this sort of nutty protein bar, homemade, because all of the bought protein bars are full of fillers and rubbish stuff. So I know what's actually in this one, and I can actually give it to my kids as well. Eat that on the go. I've just been newly introduced to an air fryer. Oh my goodness. I thought air fryers were like this weird faddy thing, but once you know what an air fryer is, yes, it's really good. You can actually make little pockets of, mix up some eggs, some bacon, some cheese, and pop them in the air fryer and stick them in the fridge. They're really good to go. I make some like protein banana bread too. You can add in some oats, you can add in some nuts, not meat. Yeah, some example stuff that you can do just to make beforehand, so you don't do the excuse that I do of I can't eat, because you've got it all in the fridge ready to go. Just put it in your face. The other thing around eating protein, right, is that I read that, I didn't know this before like a week ago, that serotonin is linked to low protein. So increase your serotonin levels, that happy hormone, that feel good, with higher amounts of protein, so you have more energy, so you think clearly, so you're in a better mood and you feel more satisfied. So this is one focus. If you are to take anything from this, is if you want to lose weight and feel that get toned, then you need to eat protein. It's just going to benefit you across the board. Next is to lift weights. Stop focusing on cardio. That's it, really. The World Health Organization actually says that you need to be lifting weight training, full body weight training, at least twice a week. And it doesn't, like, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be go to the gym for hours. If you can't manage that, if you don't have gym membership or you don't like going to the gym, you don't have to do it. It's focusing on things that you do like doing, and you can do like body weight stuff to get you used to things. But if you are someone who's got 5 kids at home and you're just like, there is no way I can go out of the house for an hour and a half to get to the gym, train, come back. And even if they have a creche, like I've found a local gym that has a creche, even then it's a bit of a struggle because you're like, oh, they're due a nap, I shouldn't go. And you make yourself less of a priority in that situation. But I've been telling myself that I feel better after exercise, especially when I'm weight training, and you just feel stronger and your body feels lighter and you're able to move better. You're pain-free, and like my pelvic floor is so much better because I'm tying in that weight training with my breathing and all of that good stuff when it comes to pelvic floor work. Weights is what's going to build muscle. Now, please don't get scared about building muscle and looking bulky. It's just not possible. It's so difficult. I entered a bodybuilding competition back before children. I can't remember when. And maybe 2016, doesn't matter. Anyway, I would train twice a day, 6 days a week, and I was eating barely anything. And I had that toned look. But I was lifting weights 6 times a week for hours. And I still didn't look like a man. I still didn't have that no neck sort of hunching look, no boobs look. It's very difficult. So please don't be scared. All that it does give you, it makes you feel stronger. You're able to hold your posture better. You aren't in pain. You've been working on strength around your core and your glutes, which is your stabilizing muscles, and you can move better with your children. And that's what weight training gives you. So here's some examples of stuff that you can do if you are choosing to go to a gym. And it's not doing these crazy things like you can't even pronounce. It's basic stuff like squats and lunges and bench press and rows. And if you're not sure what the hell these things are, just drop me a message or just type it into Google. They're really simple movements, but it may feel overwhelming if you go into a gym and you're like, crap, okay, I need to do a barbell squat. It's just this is when you work with a trainer. This is when our personal trainers come in to their own, especially when they work specifically with mums and postpartum and pre and post, and they know a woman's body. So it's about doing 8 to 10 reps and 3 sets and resting in between. That's just an example, okay? Like I said, if you are someone who cannot go to the gym, who doesn't like going to the gym, maybe it could just be focusing on doing some sort of exercise for 5 minutes a day. Can you put aside 5 minutes a day to do something like a bridge, some bridges, because your glutes and your core should be the main focus, especially on us mums. These are our strength. This is our trunk. This is what helps us move better when we're lifting our kids, when we're hunching forward, when we're breastfeeding, when we're leaning over the bath. Everything hurts and aches. Please don't think that you have to do loads, but if you do something, imagine someone gave me an analogy of a boat on the water. If you turn the boat just 1% to the left, it will eventually veer off and go into a different direction, right? You don't have to turn it all the way round, keep going. It's just one small thing to do consistently, and then you start noticing the benefits and start feeling better, and you may want to introduce a little bit longer. But please don't get overwhelmed with the fact that lifting all of this stuff, you just don't have to do it, but it is focusing on more about body weight stuff, lifting weights, getting you strong so that you can build muscle and you can get that toned look. As I said, if you do anything, please make sure you do it because you enjoy doing it. Moving your body, and I'm not talking about just you move because you're lifting your kids and you're blah blah blah. Move doing something for yourself. Anything. It helps mix up that stagnant. And if we're anxious, like I have suffered a lot with postpartum depression and anxiety, and I notice if I've moved, even if I go for a little like dance in the house without the kids, just shaking it off, loud music, it helps just get rid of that anxiety, boost the mood, and again, do what you enjoy. Please don't think of something that's going to be too overwhelming. Think of something that's more manageable for you. Yeah, it's about building muscle. When we build muscle in our bodies, we need to eat. We need to eat more to keep that muscle. So you end up feeling more hungry and eating more, but still getting toned, still feeling leaner and feel like better in your clothes. Things start fitting better because you've got more muscle in your body and because you've got less fat and you are feeling stronger. And that's how you get that toned look. It's the building the muscle with the exercise around body weight training stuff, resistance training, that sort of thing with bands, and then getting the protein because that feeds our muscles. Please remember, you are amazing. Like I said before, right at the beginning of this webinar, your body has done amazing things. If we focus on nourishing it, being kind to ourselves, doing things that we love doing for ourselves, it doesn't mean you're prioritizing your children less or neglecting them in some way. It just means you're making yourself a priority, and you deserve to do that because you are then more able, more capable, and happier as a mum. And you don't feel like stressed and anxious and depressed because it can be so challenging. These are my details here. I do run a podcast called Real Talk for Mums, and that is my Instagram page, Lara Jezef, and then my website there. If you had any questions or if you wanted me to share any recipes, please do drop me an email and I am happy to answer anything. If you've liked this webinar, please let me know. If you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Or if you have questions, please let me know. And then I can make tweaks, and I'm always looking to help mums the best way I can. And I'm just talking from everything that I've learned through being a mother. Bye for now.